Hi everybody, this is Jamal from Jayz Internet Solutions. Welcome to another episode of Jayz TV. Today we are going to talk about some of the advantages of cloud computing, okay? And the first one is low startup costs, okay? It says here, low startup costs makes cloud computing especially attractive to small businesses and entrepreneurs, okay? So as we mentioned before, cloud computing is a move away from big capital expenditure, and it's a move towards sort of small incremental services that you pay on a monthly basis for different apps that you use online, okay? So apps like Google Apps, FreshBooks, and other apps that we use on a daily basis, they don't cost us a lot to sort of implement or buy these services. All we do is we pay a small monthly subscription. And also another point that is very important is that we can stop that subscription at any time. So we're not locked in for a long period. Of course, if we stop paying the subscription, the software won't work, but we're not tied in. So we're not sort of looking at long-term commitments and long-term investments, okay? Also, this week, actually last week, I trained a group of women on WordPress, which is a blogging and a CMS development platform. And as you know, during the course of the 2 days, I introduced them to Dropbox. Dropbox is a virtual server where you can upload your documents, any type of files to that server, and it synchronizes with your computer, and you can access that server from any sort of internet connected device. And in particular, we spoke about a lot of apps in the course, and Dropbox in particular was extremely sort of favored by the group that I was training. And while in the sessions, they started to download and install the apps, and this is a free app, okay? So I want to mention about Dropbox because some apps take the freemium model, okay? So freemium is a combination between the word free and premium, okay? And what it means is that Dropbox is a free service, and it gives you 2 gigabytes, okay? That's 2,000 megabytes of free space on their platform, okay? So you can have a 2 gigabyte server, virtual server, at no cost, okay? And if you do want extra space, you can buy that extra space, okay? So that's how they make their money. So there's the vast majority of users use the free sort of model. I personally use the free one as well. And then there are a small group of people that need a lot of space, and they pay Dropbox extra for the extra space on their server, okay? And that's where they make their money. So they take on the freemium model, which is quite popular on the internet, okay? So low startup cost is one of the big advantages to cloud computing, okay? Then ease of management. There's no need to worry about keeping licenses current or purchasing additional hardware, okay? So if your organization upscales or downsizes, you don't have a lot of cost implications, okay? Because if you did not use cloud computing services and your organization grew in a big way, it would be a lot of costs involved with that. Costs of buying licenses for software, costs of buying new hardware, costs of IT personnel to manage that hardware, okay? And once you've had all of that, and for whatever reason you had to downscale and your organization sort of got smaller, then you'd have a lot of wastage of equipment, a lot of wastage of licenses. So cloud computing takes all of that away, okay? So if you have more users, you can sort of buy more subscriptions to these cloud computing applications like Google Apps. And when you want to scale down, all you do is you sort of lower your subscriptions, okay? Now with a product called FreshBooks, which I use for invoicing and a whole lot of other accounting services, I've had that experience where I needed to sometimes upscale the product, and then I had sort of experience when I had to sort of downscale the product. And it was very convenient because all you do is you go to the website and you sort of toggle your subscription up or down, okay? So that makes management extremely easy. Then scalability is another big factor. Like we mentioned in a previous episode, you can scale Google Apps, for example, from 1 user to 15,000 users seamlessly, okay? Now, it doesn't happen, without any sort of effort, because realistically, if you added 15,000 users, you needed to add those users, their names, their surnames, and get them logged into the system. So you would need to do that, but in terms of infrastructure, that would be seamless, okay? You wouldn't need to buy anything extra or add anything extra to the system. The system is so powerful that it can accommodate for 1 user or 15,000 users with the same sort of capacity. And then device and location independence, okay? The way you access a cloud could be your desktop, it could be someone else's computer, it could be a smartphone. Now, I've mentioned this fact numerous times, that cloud computing is device independent. So no matter where you are, no matter which device you have, as long as it's an internet connection, basically you can access anything that you want and do the work that you need to, okay? It makes life very easy, very simple, and very convenient, and makes your business productivity sort of flying at a very high level, okay? And then the last point I want to mention on the advantages of cloud computing is rapid innovation. Because vendors are able to roll out new features incrementally, they can respond to user needs more rapidly, okay? Now, this is extremely important. You don't need to install something new to take advantage of new changes, okay? So with Google Apps, every couple of months you see a new feature in the suite, and you can take advantages of that. Last night I logged into FreshBooks after a couple of days, and there's a new feature there where it tracks, it sort of predicts how quickly a certain client will settle their account. Okay, it's a very innovative little thing they've built into that, and we're becoming very used to this. That every time we log into these applications, there are new features, there are sort of new ways we can take advantage of the system, okay? And there's no extra cost for this. These things get rolled out, the system improves, and we don't pay anything extra for the use of these additional features, okay? So in a nutshell, that's a couple of advantages of cloud computing. There are a lot more, and those I've talked about, there's a lot more to talk about on each of them. But for the sake of this episode, that's all we're going to share today on the advantages of cloud computing. And I do recommend you get your foot in the door with email, with Google Apps, and try to start to use these services and see, how they sort of how you respond to them. This is all for this episode of Jayz TV. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until we meet again next week, crush it.